Recording has started.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to this exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place in the Irish National History Museum. Ironically, as some of you will know, this was in fact the location of the old Tremere Chantry, or at least the location whereby you would get into the old Tremere Chantry. One of you has come here very late at night in order to break into said old Tremere Chantry. I'm looking at Ryan. However, this evening it is thronged with people. This evening there are many, many people whom are walking its corridors, whom are pacing through its hallways, and who are enjoying the delectations of the night. Tonight, Dr. Mowbray Trench, the man pictured here, fabulous mustache, is presenting his Treasures of the Lost Valley.
Okay.
This is the first time that this rather exceptional find has been placed on public display outside of the National Museum in Cairo, where it has been kept for the last 6 years under very heavy security. Dr. Trench has been taking it on a world tour in order to show off the various different incredible items and pieces of objet d'art that he found lost beneath the sands in a place that he has dubbed the Hidden Valley. Not to be confused with the Valley of the Kings, though the two are geographically in a similar position, only being about 5 miles distant. This appears to have been an individual burial that took place outside the Valley of the Kings. Most peculiar, however, Dr. Trench was able to excavate the site and bring out these incredible archaeological finds. So, with that in mind, I'll let you do a brief introduction of your characters. I will flick down through the room from my left to right, and you may do your introduction. So in that case, Theodore, you sir are up first.
Theodore is, of course, wearing a very well-kept suit, and he is perusing and, well, just mingling. It seems as though he's very, very used to this.
All right. Fidel, you're up next.
Fidel is similarly just perusing and looking about curiously. He is also dressed in a suit, which is primarily a very dark purple.
Wonderful. Saoirse is actually next.
My timing was pretty good then. Saoirse will arrive in her usual, black gown. She is devoid of a Baron Voidfrost tonight. She comes in by herself.
Okay.
Her hair is strategically styled to cover her ears.
Okay, in that case, Jason, you are up next.
Damien will be walking around in a bespoke suit and a fresh shirt. It's the same suit he wore at a certain tech mage's house. He himself being a very average-looking human being, and having been and technically still being an archaeologist, this of course is akin to the event of the century for him. So he's most enthused and milling about and making his notes, and seems quite lively tonight.
Going from lively to dead, Isaac.
Isaac, he is currently attired in a very, very simple hoodie, and he's actually decided to go ahead and dress up a little bit. He's not wearing his work uniform. He is wearing a, well, to be honest, it's kind of stained, but it's a button-up shirt, and he has this soulless stare. And more than once this night, he has been mistaken for some type of servant or service person.
Ryan, I think one of your servants has followed you.
No, he ain't. Still alive.
Oh. Good
Hey.
lord.
Oh, wait. Oh, belay that order.
Ryan, you can come in next because that amused me.
Okay. Well, Ryan's going to be wearing his typical attire, the dinner jacket, etc. Except he's wearing a cravat this time.
And a beanie.
And I'm not wearing a beanie. I've swapped for this particular event to the voodoo hat I normally wear. It like goes over my ears.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And in that case, Sarah, you come up last.
Catherine is wearing a very form-fitting long black dress and some black stilettos. And she is just watching the faces in the crowd, watching everyone mill about and talk and seeing if she can hear what anyone is saying.
All right. The evening is coming into full swing, and you will see this gentleman who is clearly, by the rosy tinge of his nose and cheeks, has clearly been at the wine ever so slightly. As he steps up to a lectern and he says, "Oh, sorry, I'm going blind in my old age. I thought that everyone had been introduced. I'm going blind." But Theodore has already come in, so in that case, Nelson, you're last, Olby.
Oh, yeah. Mine is probably something that Gotcha bought him a white suit because to accent his angelic look. He is very thin but very tall, standing at just close to what. He doesn't have huge size, but he's not far from it. He's at 6'6", very thin, and wearing all white, and has a under his suit over his suit has a very thin white silk coat. I mean.
Okay. You will see, as I say, this individual. He steps forward toward the lectern. The lectern has been positioned in the center of the room. The room itself is dominated via various different, here we go, archaeological finds. Everything has a plaque. Everything kind of tells you what it is. It is an incredibly exceptional find. That you'd reckon that there's probably, millions of euros worth of antiques in this room, but definitely the most dominating entity in the room is the large black carved sarcophagus that has been inlaid with beautiful gold and silver filigree. It appears to be carved out of what looks to be black basalt, which would have been incredibly complicated and rending to be attempted at the time of the tools. However, one thing that's very interesting to you all, the sarcophagus, despite the fact it is supposedly containing remains, and this would normally be, is still closed. It's not open. The mummy is not on display. But Dr. Trench will step forward to the lectern and he'll say, yes, ladies and gentlemen, pleasure to see you all. Yes, the mustache person. It's almost like it has a mind of its own. Before he will continue, I'm more than happy to address you on behalf of the Irish Historical Society as it pertains to the find that I was lucky enough to discover in the area I have since dubbed the Lost Valley. This was some time ago, as I'm sure many of you will understand, and so I'm wondering, does anyone have any questions for me now that they've had time to mull over the exhibits? Bristle, bristle.
A right hand shoots up into the air. It's Damien.
Yes, by all means, please.
A most excellent collection you have here, sir. Is there any particular reason why the sarcophagus is closed and we are not able to see the contents?
Yes. Interestingly enough, sorry, what is your name, young man?
Damian Wolf, a fellow archaeologist, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, wonderful to meet someone in the trade. Yes, I haven't crossed trowels with you before. But no, needless to say, the sarcophagus is a particularly interesting facet, as it were. You see, there's an incredibly complicated locking mechanism that seems to be securing it closed. And honestly, we've not been able to, how would one say, jerry-rig or, in other ways, extricate the lock or pick the lock to the point where it could be opened without the possibility of damaging the contents. We've only managed to secure ultrasound images from inside, which does indeed suggest that there is a body within, as well as a large metal container of some kind. We suspect, as we did not find them in the burial chamber proper, that this individual was in fact buried with his canopic jars located inside his sarcophagus. Most unusual.
I agree.
Another
to
hand
know.
will go up.
Yes, sir.
Oh, delighted. A very, very fine display. I'm terribly sorry, but I am sort of a layman, but what did you use for the dating methods? What would you put this Lost Valley? How long ago would you say these pieces date back to? I might have missed it. If that, I apologize.
No, absolutely fine. What we've been able to ascertain from the reading of the various different hieroglyphs and from spectrum analysis of the various different clothings, carbon dating, etc., we've been able to determine that this dates from what we would refer to as the Fourth Dynasty, which has also been called the Dark Age of Ancient Egypt. It is nestled just in between the Bronze Age collapse and the later periods, you understand. So it's rather when the New Kingdom and the Old Kingdom came together, shortly thereafter, they experienced great and turbulent times, as it were. But, yes, it was most interesting, as I said. So this dates to approximately 2200 BC or so. Actually, no, it's earlier. It's later than that. It's about 1,500.
1500 BC.
Thank you.
Not quite Ptolemy.
After that, Theodore will move over and probably find Ryan, and he will just nod to Ryan.
Pleasure to see you in this fine evening.
Likewise. Any particular interest, or?
Yeah. A large collection of ancient artifacts of Egyptian origin is something of an interest of mine.
By the way, because you're the only one here who actually has the ability to do it innately. Hey Ryan, you know what Mythoseria 2 does?
Yes, it does.
There's something about that coffin, but you're not sure what, but it has a taste. A very, 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 very flavorful taste.
It's just like, I don't want to be like, the coffin is spicy.
Yes, you do.
God damn it. Now I assume that the fucking dude from Bloodlines wants me to get the coffin.
I mean, Smiling Jack does not come into this because I fucking hate Smiling Jack.
What? He's like one of the best characters. Hey, you dirty rat sucker.
Can I auspex the coffin?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I will do so at some point, but not right now.
By the way, Mael is looking like an excited child at this.
I will put it.
Yep.
Have the correct. There's actually a combo discipline to do it. It's called thematical sight, which lets you identify what magic does, but you can kind of see it if it exists with all specs normally. So there you go.
I'll be activating my entropy sight and having a good look at the coffin, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Question.
Answer.
Under which book can thaumaturgical sight be found?
It is a Lore of the Clans Tremere special combo discipline.
Thanks.
But to be fair, I would let any of the three major magic-y clans, aka the Tremere, the Assamites, or the followers of Set, I'd let any three of them take it because it seems like something that they would have all developed.
Yeah.
But it is under the Tremere and the Lore of the Clans.
And there would be 2 successes on activating entropy sight.
As soon as you look at it under entropy sight, you don't actually see anything before your entropy sight switches off. Literally, it's like it took the effect and broke it.
Okay. Damien scribbles a note in his notebook and closes it.
Hey, okay, how do I explain this? Hey, Saoirse, how's it going with life?
I'm assuming not good if you're using that particular voice on me.
Basically, what you see is so. Has Saoirse really? Have you experienced Nightmare Chimera before?
No, she has not. She is Babby Changeling.
Okay, hi, Babby Changeling. Hi. Hi.
Oh Lord. Okay.
What you see is basically vicious faces, snarling maws, claws, all kinds of other evil-looking detritus, and an odd red burning eye symbol located on the forehead of the coffin. But they appear to be basically there appears to be something stopping the claws, stopping the teeth, and stopping the snarling from breaking free. It's almost like they're brushing against something, like there's something preventing them from moving.
Okay, that's going to, send her to the bathroom to call her mentor because she doesn't know what the fuck that is.
I don't know who the fuck your mentor is. Oh shit, it's me.
Yeah, oh shit, it's you. It's fucking Void Frost.
Sorry,
Oh dear.
I'm okay.
I got a single success on my Auspex read.
You look at it once again. It has a dull, sickly, residual magic to it. You can see it pulses from the coffin.
Well, that's pleasant.
Would my occult skill help me out at all in the situation?
Could I roll intelligence occult?
I am going to activate Aura Sight or Auspex on it as well.
Okay.
I have 2.
Yeah, you can both roll me intelligence occult. It'll be difficulty 8, but you can both roll intelligence occult.
I got an idea.
Can anyone do that
Yeah.
if they have a
What do your sorry, Isaac? What do your sunglasses at night do again?
My sunglasses are attuned to spirit sight, prime sight, and matter sight.
Okay, important question. Are you looking through them?
Oh no,
Okay.
not right now. But he
Okay.
wishes to go ahead and poke Damien.
Poke.
Damien, you have a familiar looking face at your back.
Oh, Isaac, how are you doing?
You're doing well. You may want to ask the question. Just going to go ahead and give you this one for free, because people are going to notice you more than they notice me. Could you kindly ask the man up there with the mustache what was the most difficult part of this particular expedition? Like some curse or jinx? I don't know. I'm probably being way too paranoid, but you should ask that. You really should. You ask it.
Yes, fine. Almost feeling Isaac's urgency, like groping him. So, yes, fine. Damien raises his hand again.
Yes, well, but my fellow colleague, what can I do for you?
Well, pardon me if this sounds a little dramatic, but were there at any point during the excavation a particular tomb or particular entrance that gave you or your excavation crew, shall I say, extra difficulties or unusual occurrences? I wouldn't go so far as talking of curses, of course, but I'm always interested to see what pitfalls one might encounter in a dig and try to learn from other people's experiences.
No, now that you mention it, no, there was nothing of any real severe impediment to us as we excavated the tomb. It was rather difficult to find, you understand. As I said, we'd heard rumors and we'd found suggestions hidden in places in the valleys of the kings to suggest that such a tomb existed, but we'd never managed to ascertain it ourselves until the point in which, well, we ascertained it, as it were.
Yes, and Geraldine stood an 8 needle in the entrance.
So no, there was no great conundrum in finding the place.
Thank you.
The only point of interest that you might find of note, and he clicks a button, at which point on a screen behind him you see a rendering, at which point he says, we discovered quite an interesting, one could almost call it a hexagrammatic outlay that the sarcophagus was sitting in the center of. Basically what you see a number of small obsidian obelisks that are about a foot tall, and they're in an odd series of concentric circles around the sarcophagus when the sarcophagus was found.
Yeah. If Damien will take his cell phone and quickly shoot a picture of that, because that looks very interesting to him.
Okay.
Would a intelligence academics history give us any information on that?
Not really. It's really odd. It's not even a cult question at that point. By the way, did both of you roll your intelligence occult?
Yeah, assuming ancient secrets is what would count as a double success type thing, 2 successes.
Can I roll intelligence occult as well?
If you like.
I have 2 successes.
We lost to Sarah. No.
I botched my occult roll.
You know what? The ancient Egyptians used to draw themselves with giant penises.
Ah, yes, the dick washers.
That is what you get, Liam.
Give me a moment. I feel the need to suddenly step out the room.
Weird question. Do you actually step out of the room?
Just for now, yeah. But he
Right.
will be back. It's like, at most, like 3 minutes. Then he comes back in.
Oh, does he?
Checks to see if Evan's messaging me in great fear.
I'm not. No.
I mean, Saoirse also stepped out of the room to go to the restroom to call Whitefrost, so...
You know what? Because I'm here and I can't really be a mentor from the scene, he's totally asleep and his phone is turned off. There you go.
Ugh, douche.
Sorry, Arjun will. I will.
I really can't give you mentor points. I'd be a guy running the scene. When it's my PC who's your mentor. That'd be really, really bad.
I like to imagine it just goes to voicemail. It's like, hi, this is Baron Voidfrost. I can't take your call right now because I am an adult with many very important things to do. Please leave a message.
If it helps, when you say he's an adult, he's totally playing with a model train set somewhere. It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right. So, does anyone else do? So sorry, people. Oh yeah, for those of you who rolled academics history, it's very unusual for the canopic jars to be kept anywhere, even in the same burial chamber as the body, because they were believed to be an imperfect link to your human form. So when it was you returned from the dead, you would have to go into another room that represented your rebirth in order to re-imbibe them, basically.
Oh, we can roll intelligence history.
Yeah, 2 successes on intelligence occult.
Intelligence occult or intelligence history? Well,
either or.
Okay. Yeah, 2 successes on the history too.
Yeah, while that's happening, Damien will open up his notebook and simply, with his finger, slowly go under a sentence he wrote. This sarcophagus negated my entropy sight. And gives him a meaningful look as he closes the notebook again.
All right. I assume that was the message. Correct.
Yes. On a side note, Sarah, have you returned?
I'm sorry.
Yes,
You may
I have.
need to repeat that.
I am here and it's working right now, and hopefully it stays that way.
Quick question.
So, did you? I was going to say, before I continue, give me a couple of seconds. Did you manage to roll your intelligence occult check?
Yes, you got 2 successes.
Okay, in that case, you get the exact same information. Basically, it is very unusual for a canopic jar to be kept even in the same burial room as a mummified individual, let alone in the same sarcophagus, because the canopic jars represented a link to your life. So essentially, they would be kept in another room in a burial chamber, wherein you would essentially go after you had returned to this world to revivify yourself. So it's quite unusual to have a canopic jar in your burial sarcophagus with you.
Just gonna real quick just go over to Damien. Perhaps it'd be pertinent to ask him which direction, facing forward, of course, from the front entrance to the primary chamber was located. You know, given the left and right conundrum. Of course, this is Bar Tutankhamun. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, his tomb was originally meant to be his mother's, hence why it instead went to the left.
Correct. And one has to say that Tutankhamun's burial chamber was also very hastily finished off. I mean, the paint literally had been dripping when they sealed it. So when they found it, there was even some mold behind it. Quite disgraceful, actually, for a ruler of the time. But well, that goes. Yeah. Oh, and he leans into Ryan a little closer. I took my liberty of having have a look at it under entropy. Let's just say my entropy view, and as soon as I activated it, it just switched it off. This is the first time something like this has happened. Very unusual. Plus,
okay, so hi Fidel, how's it going? How's life? Is life
Hello.
good?
Yes, it was.
You are outside. You step out into the main corridor, just in time. By the way, what's Fidel's level of Auspex?
2.
Okay, no, you did not see this happening before it does. You are just in time to see this woman literally appear from nowhere. You've seen people appear from obvious gates, so you can make your own assumption. In her left hand, she has what appears to be a severed human hand that she brings down onto the floor. Literally, like punching it down onto the floor.
Okay. Is this in front of me?
Yes.
How far away is she?
About 25 feet.
All right, I'm going back inside.
Okay. Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
Let all those that should be asleep, and let all those that are awake be awake.
You feel a ripple of necromantic energy wash over you.
Yeah, I was onto that immediately.
As all around you, by the way, I assume that all of the mages here have a mind shield with at least 2 successes.
Only 1 success.
Ha! Okay. Everyone.
Oh dear.
Actually, I don't know how changelings resist this. Ha. Give me like 20 seconds.
But I'm not already asleep. Why would it affect me?
Beg your pardon?
The hand.
Yeah, it's only for mundane people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no. Actually, you're right. I think it only affects mundane people. Basically, what you guys will see is all of the people in the room basically start dropping like flies onto the floor. Not dead, but unconscious.
Can this be the point?
Hmm?
Can this be the point that Fidel comes back?
Yes.
Yeah, someone just smacked a Oh. Ryan, someone just did a thing outside. I now know what that does.
Theodore is just gonna move into a corner and gonna go into obfuscate because nope.
I'm gonna join Theodore, but in a different corner.
Necromancy
Okay.
is afoot.
This is the point where the sunglasses go on. It is now officially night. Shit has gone down.
That's not even my juju. I'm shaken.
Storyteller, please define mundane people.
Normies.
Those of you who are not magically inclined or do not have an avatar. So essentially, all of you guys are immune to being knocked unconscious.
Ah, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does the guy who was presenting this whole thing fall unconscious?
Oh yeah, like a stone. He starts to snore happily. You guys start to hear footsteps from outside the door as there's clearly something approaching. It does dawn on each of you. There are a couple of ways this could go. You could all lie down on the floor and pretend to be asleep.
That's what I'm gonna do.
You know, but I'm really pretty. They're gonna know something's up. Shit!
Very sick. Yes. Yeah.
Thought powers have failed you.
Yeah. No.
I mean, you are
They-
not the only one.
They have betrayed me.
Mel pretends to be asleep. Mm-mm.
That is probably what Saoirse would do, because she doesn't know what the fuck's going on, because, Void Frost didn't answer the phone.
Actually, is there a place to go ahead and duck out sight real quick?
There's the front door to this basically to this large central room wherein the actual exhibit is, but you couldn't really get out of physical sight in this room. It's a large square room.
Gotcha.
Time to get the good old prime focus out, which also happens to be a one-handed axe.
The door. Sorry,
yeah.
I'll just say the door will open, pushed in by two other men who both appear to be of Middle Eastern or North African descent. You will see this woman walk in with her hands clasped behind her back before she turns and she bows her head as you see this individual physically, there he goes, appear in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it.
Oh dear.
So, question: who here is still standing on their feet in the room?
I'm still standing.
I was going to obfuscate in the corner.
Okay, what are people's relevant obfuscate levels?
6.
Okay, right. Okay, Theodore, he cannot see you.
Fidel has 3, so probably can't see me.
He can see Fidel.
But luckily, I'm not facing into the corner. I am looking out into the rest of the room, so I seem to have just vacated myself out of the way for them.
Because I can go ahead and say it, Isaac's gonna go ahead and play dead. But that's the only reason he's doing it.
This individual, his eyes sweep the room, and they are as odd and serpentine as they are presented, as a forked tongue flicks from between his teeth. So Ryan and who else is standing up? Sorry,
Damien.
Okay, Ryan, Damien,
Fidel. Also, Fidel's going to put his mask on.
Fidel. Nelson, are you standing up or playing dead?
No, he's playing dead.
Okay. Brave Sir Gangrel, he bravely fucked off.
Why would he?
I don't fucking know, would he?
He is kind of curious, so...
The individual raises his eyebrow, just like, oh, I was not expecting this.
A hand of glory. Very interesting. A good idea.
I find it most effective.
Certainly is on these mundanes, and I kind of gesture in the general direction of the sleeping people.
Interesting. You are Ryan Famo.
I see my reputation precedes me.
It does. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir. My name is Lord Saraket.
A pleasure.
He extends his hand.
I'm just going to shake his hand.
Yeah. This is entirely calm and mundane from his perspective.
Because I don't know this guy. He just seems like a casual connoisseur of necromancy. You just can't. Everyone else is like, hide! You don't know he wants to kill you or not. I mean, I'm not stopping him from doing anything.
Now then, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Famo, I have business to attend to.
Of course. I assume you're referring to, and he just gestures in the general direction of the sarcophagus. Is this your property or something you're recently meaning to acquire?
It has property in it that belongs to my clan.
Ah, yes, it does make sense, of course. The serpents, they've been in that area for a long time.
He smiles before he starts to walk away. But as he does so, he will say, "We are that area, Mr. Famo."
Of course.
He stops and he looks at Damien and he just says, "And how is it that a human is still awake?"
Margus is all that he says.
Ah, you're one of those human practitioners of what you do not or vaguely understand. Fascinating. Well, I'm sure that you try. Don't stand in my way, and you and I have no quarrel, Margus.
I see no reason to quarrel with you. And he lets Lord Saraket move because he has proven that he's pretty strong.
Okay. So I assume that even though you guys are laying on the ground, you're kind of like looking at what's going on. You're like, "Yep,
Yeah.
I want to see this shit." Okay. What you guys see is pretty interesting. So Saraket walks forward and he raises his hands out on either side of himself before he brings them clapping together. And there's something in the clap that reverberates out through you all. It kind of makes everything go a bit wobbly a little bit, if that makes sense. It makes everything feel like everything's a centimeter or two sideways. But for those of you who are magically inclined, you feel something shatter surrounding the cave or surrounding the sarcophagus. Oh Jesus. Okay. Hi, Saoirse. How's it going? I forgot that was a thing. Everyone else is fine.
I'm assuming this is going to cause some banality.
No, Nightmare Chimera, though. Yeah, roll me willpower, difficulty 9.
Oh god, this is not going to end well. Her willpower's not very high.
Welcome to being a changeling.
Notebook comes out and notes are being made. Damien seems to be taking this very blasé. He's just taking notes and not being in the way.
Nope.
Okay. Basically, you are assailed by things that are invisible to everyone else. Hey, Saoirse, you are currently being swarmed by invisible tiny spiders.
Oh god, why did you... Oh, Evan.
Because
Why?
it just happens I know it freaks Shayna out. They're everywhere. They're in your mouth, they're in your eyes.
I hate you.
Please roleplay accordingly.
She would probably get up and, start freaking out, just brushing herself off, spitting things that aren't there out of her mouth.
The woman who was with Saraket, basically, she draws a really it's a long curved knife, and you see her raise it as she's about to strike this woman in the back. Does anyone choose to try and do anything to save the poor changeling?
Okay, I'm stepping in.
Fuck it. Yeah, my only's gonna
I
die.
love how you guys literally jump up off the floor. It's like, we're being brave, oh shit, we actually have to be brave.
I'm staying put.
I go ahead and slow my heartbeat down. And
All right,
beat
so
by
what-
beat by beat in a very, very obscure Isaac meditation, counting the digits on my digital watch, thinking that this is just a very, very weird shift at the smart mark. I'm meditating.
all right, so as she draws the knife, the first thing that becomes immediately apparent is the knife is wreathed in green flame. Secondly, what do you guys do?
Never mind.
Well,
I'm not helping anymore.
You've already moved to help, sir. You've broken your obfuscate.
Yeah. Oh, they already knew I was there.
One of them did.
Okay.
So what do you two do?
fuck, Green Flame's changed shit.
It's your normal burning blade.
Well, I can still use. Oh, well, I can't use it, I
Can I
can
bring one of
use
my
Fortitude,
people?
just not just like that. But fuck it.
Well, what are you two doing?
Well, Fidel was going
Oh.
to use one of his knives to basically stop the strike.
Oh, did you want to throw a knife at a knife?
No, he was just going to He was just going to intercept. Just kind of. Well, to be fair, I'm probably on the other side of the room. I probably can't reach there in time.
So, I mean, you could talk. You can say no or some such. I don't know.
Don't kill that
Please
one.
don't. Yeah, please don't.
She looks at you, and there's an eyebrow raised as she says, in a very, very heavy, heavy North African accent that I'm not going to attempt to do. Why is it that her life means anything to you?
I don't know.
I happen to. Well, I have no ill will towards her. I would prefer she does not die.
On a side note, I find it highly ironic the fact that you cower under the shadows and yet you come out when it's time to save one indigent child, she says, looking at Fidel.
You make a good point. Carry on.
She just looks at him with a look that says, "You are nothing to me."
That's fair.
She just shoos him away like, shoo shoo, shoo shoo.
I got like the stab away face right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Fidel squints at that. He's not happy with that. He does not like that.
Roll for frenzy.
Actually, yeah. You know what? This is a public humiliation. Roll for frenzy.
Just saying that Theodore has moved over towards the person that is going to get chopped and stands ready to activate bandage in front of Mind's Eye.
Okay.
If someone is getting
Well, bear in mind, she's actively screaming and like brushing herself off. Like you wouldn't be able to obfuscate her.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's just whack her over the
she's
head.
in, full on panic mode.
Just whack her over the head so she's knocked out. That way, you
So,
don't.
Yeah, that's what.
Shaded, does this character have PTSD? Because I know it's a trope of yours.
That's what.
Thank you very much. 2 of my characters have PTSD, and one was gained in-game thanks to one of your NPCs, you bitch!
On a side note, guess who's going to gain PTSD after this? Nothing. Anyway, moving on.
So I got. What was the difficulty?
It's going to be difficulty. Public humiliation is actually really high. It's like 7.
Okay, that's 1 success.
Yeah, that's all you need to control the beast. Wrestle it back and put it in its cage and tell it it's been a naughty boy. But for those of you who are paying attention, basically what Sarakat does is he looks at the sarcophagus and he drives his fist into it. Literally, he punches it. The first punch doesn't actually break the sarcophagus. It requires two of them. The first one cracks it, roll right up onto it. Okay, there was like some wicked reverb there for a second. Before the second blow cracks it down the middle, and his hand thrusts into it. And a few moments later, he rips something out of it. And it appears to be a canopic jar that he has in his hand. It has a large jackal's head on it.
Gets noted down, because that will allow my mage later to find out which organ was in the canopic jar and removed.
I have a good guess what organ it already is.
What do you think it is?
It isn't the heart, is it?
It's the liver.
My guess would be the heart, because the whole Setite fucking removal
that's
of
why
the heart of darkness.
And Catherine knows that a name just wipes the heart after death. So.
Yep, he does. As he turns in one smooth movement, you see him bring his foot down, the booted foot, on the back of Mowbray Trench's neck, and you hear a sickening crack.
I liked it.
As the body spasms twice before it gives out on the ground. He then whispers something to the corpse. I don't take it anyone here can speak ancient Egyptian.
No, just
Well, actually, no, I'm joking.
No.
To be fair, at least one of my characters has that as language on their sheet, because fuck yeah! But he whispers something, and he softly strokes the body's hair as blood begins to pool from the shattered remains of the face. That blow practically liquefied his spine. There was so much potence behind it, or so much strength, because clearly Saraket had blood buffed his strength to ridiculous levels and used potence to break open the sarcophagus.
Is the mustache okay?
No, it's not. The mustache is covered in blood and very sad.
All right,
Roll for frenzy again.
mustache, yeah.
Roll me a frenzy check, difficulty 8.
Gandalf, no!
Gandalf, no!
Oh, I actually 2 successes. Yay!
Once again, though, nothing will ever beat needlessly racist Samwise Gamgee. We're not going to get into that now because that could get somebody's YouTube channel yanked, but it was still funny.
Yeah, and especially considering this is going on my YouTube channel, let's not.
We can wait till the after party.
Yes, we can. With that in mind, Saraket simply turns and he starts to walk from the room, cradling the jar in his hands.
May I ask whose heart it is? Not to intrude, of course.
He simply says, "You may ask, I will not answer." I'm sure I will extend to you a gentleman's courtesy. However, the courtesy only goes so far.
Understandable. Could be important.
Oh, small note. Casting my perceptions over the Chantry's mind link.
Okay. By the way, you are wearing your sunglasses at night. There's a very powerful there's a very powerful prime signature coming from the inside of that canopic jar.
Woof! 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 God damn! Don't scare me like that. Fuck!
I will tell
Why
you
don't
right
you just
now,
tell me that after, when it leaves, when I can no longer see the thing? Oh
I will
God!
tell you right now, from your perspectives, if you were to break it down, it's equivalent to about maybe 25 to 30 quintessence.
Whew. So like a wellspring on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
It's very similar, actually. As you look around the room, you see a number of other entities in this room who all have a very, very similar, pattern. Basically, even Sarakat does. They all have an incredibly bright source of prime in their chest, which you'd assume is their heart. but none of them are as bright as not even Saraket's, which is quite bright, is as bright as the thing in that particular little box. That particular
yeah, just want to ask, got 3 successes for activating entropy sight once more, looking at the canopic jar and seeing if there is any luck this time.
Yeah, you'd assume that when Sarkit clapped his hands, he dispelled whatever ward or protection there was on the coffin itself.
Yep.
And he was basically able to do that. But yeah, as you look at the thing with entropy sight, you look at the heart. What you get from entropy sight is weird. The heart is an ending, but the heart is also a beginning.
Okay. Gets calmly noted down and then notebook closed and put in the side pocket, and Damien will keep his poker face up and not be an obstruction.
Is the girl still freaking out?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mel is going to try and knock her out. Like, stop it.
All right, roll me dexterity brawl.
Okay. Now I'm gonna boost my dex to 6.
Okay.
Just to be sure.
Hey, Shayna, you're about to literally get punched in the face.
Maybe it'll snap her out of it.
I mean, you do realize she has all of like 2 stamina, right? Please be nice.
I mean, I'm not boosting my strength.
In about 5 seconds, I'm going to be the prettiest person in the room.
I'll try
That's
my
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
damage.
1, 2, 4, 5. 3 successes. Well, actually, what is his? Yeah. 3 successes. Hello? Can people hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay. So yeah, that was 3 successes.
All right, roll me your damage.
This is potent 1, 3. Close. Boost his strength just a little bit. 9. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's quiet.
All right, hey Shayna, roll me your stamina. Bear in mind, this is not enough bashing to knock her unconscious.
No, it's not.
Though it is enough to make Void Frost angry that you touched his property, but that's neither here nor there.
One success.
All right, you punch her straight in the face. She's still on her feet.
Now she's just got blood all over her very pretty dress.
By the way, Nelson, what level of humanity are you on?
Let me check.
It's a black dress. It'll wash out.
The humanity 6.
I can't remember if assault is in humanity 6. Somebody check that for me.
It's funny that like everybody else is like, "Oh wow, a magical hand thing," and she's like, be like just immediately like memorizing the level 3 rituals. She'd be like, "Ah yes," and then quote the exact quote required to make people go to sleep.
Oh, by the way, that also got noted up.
What, the hand that knocks people unconscious? Yes.
Yeah, but also Ryan,
No.
the rhyme.
Injury to another is 8 on humanity.
Haha! You're fine. You can beat up a woman with impunity.
I shall try and knock her out.
Oh my god, it's getting really bad.
Oh, Voice Frost is gonna whoop your ass.
She's being attacked by spiders and beaten up by a gangrel. Holy shit!
My favourite thing about this is a really pretty gangrel punches her in the face. She's still standing. He panics and does it again.
Oh, fuck you up, pal.
You know what? Actually, he'll
Like,
be nice about it. He'll put his
we've got-
coat
we've got-
over it so that
so-
blood goes over his coat rather than
So we-
hers.
So we clearly have like different people taking
You're
different notes.
trying to be a gentleman whilst you're knocking her lights out. This
Yes!
does not fucking work.
Okay, so we have Damien who's taking notes of pretty much everything that's going on. We've got Ryan we've got Ryan who's taking notes of the necromantic rituals, and then Fidel who's taking notes of the greatest comedy sketch he has seen today.
Yes. By the way, storyteller, just a quick thing. I took the liberty of already rolling, and I would have 3 successes on activating Detect Kindred. I would say he'd do it on the tail end as Saraket is starting to leave the room, simply because, oh, for fuck's sake, just to be on the safe side, I want to note up who was what. That's all.
That might be interesting, actually.
All I'm gonna say is Gangle takes off fur coat to reveal cotton vest.
Okay, so I'll just take who is Kindred and not. Tough luck. There we go.
Alright, so the kindred in this room you will detect are Saraket, the woman with the knife, the two of Saraket's minions. You will also detect every vampire player in this room, with the exception of Theodore, because you will purposefully ignore him.
Because he's obfuscated, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
A
And
very
that's
high
fine.
level of obfuscate.
Yes, he does.
Well, it's Clan Nosferatu. Thought we've met.
It's like their shtick.
Well, one of them, but
I mean, Saraket also has a really high level of obfuscate, but like he is not currently obfuscated. Yes. So as I was saying, so with that in mind, the Setites and the others will leave the room as this mofo wails on a woman again. Apparently.
Oh well, no. If they're leaving, she will try to save her from not being stabbed. But okay, so they're just leaving now.
She is still screaming and basically trying to brush something off her.
I mean, she was.
And actually, because they're nice. Hey, Shayna, they're not spiders; they're scarab beetles. There you go.
That
Sorry.
not as bad.
Theodore is going to move over and look at the sarcophagus with a big hole in it, and see what else is down there.
He practically shattered the lid in two when he was punching it. So as you look inside, you will see a mummified corpse. You will see the hole that Lord Saraket's fist made in the mummified corpse. You see that it was clearly cradling the canopic jar in its hands around its midsection.
Ah. Is there anything else in there? Like Coptic jars or...
No. There's nothing else inside. There's a mummy.
Damien will scuttle over and have a look as well, because reasons.
Gentlemen, I wouldn't like to rush you, but how long are these people going to stay, asleep?
The entire night.
In which case we don't have a rush. Carry on.
In which case, I'm going to have dinner. Also, I'm about to acquire myself a new servant who used to have a good mustache.
Actually, I might join you in that. If people are... Actually, there are a lot of people here.
Snack time.
I literally
just for the record, Theodore is currently shooting some messages on his phone, as in, 30 plus people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just gonna text, the clan that there's a potential thing here that we need to... Yeah.
By the way, can I get everyone to roll me a perception alertness check? It's going to be difficulty 9, because it is a tiny, tiny detail, minus any levels of aspects that you might have.
What was the difficulty?
9, minus your aspect level.
Can I guess what it's to spot?
Yes, you can.
I'm guessing there's a camera in here that's very, very well hidden.
Sorry.
I've got one success.
You only need one.
3.
Okay.
I want to spend a point of willpower on this roll.
Can indeed.
What was the
Oh
difficulty?
shit!
I'm sorry.
I got one or two.
It's difficulty 9 minus your Auspex rating. If you have any Auspex.
2.
Okay. Perception, alertness. It is a roll that you like to make.
I have no luck. Hold on. Wait a minute.
One success. Because of the willpower.
Alright, so you only need one success. So there are indeed a number of cameras in this room. However, up until a few moments ago, the small little red light on the top of them to indicate that they're active was black. You'd assume that something had happened to them, that they were not monitoring the room. However, about a minute or so after Saraket and his cronies leave, the little camera icon, the little camera light at the top turns red. Whatever that means.
Fidel is so glad he's wearing his mask.
Theodore is going to go hunting for wherever in this building there might be a where these cameras are connected to.
Okay.
And well, he's going to have a walk around the building, and yeah, he's going to send all of this information to the clan and just say like.
So I'm just putting out in case you guys want to do some mass murder or mass drinky of people who are asleep. You can do. It might just constitute a masquerade breach.
I was just gonna say this: the camera suddenly turning on would have been like such a beautiful sight. There's a woman freaking out with a very pretty person punching this other pretty person.
I'm not punching her.
with a necromancer with, I assume, what is a silly straw going at the blood on the floor.
I'm not punching her. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, at least my mage will actually pipe up and say, we're being watched, so if anybody wants to feed, they probably should do it somewhere else.
My thoughts exactly. You there, porcelain man.
I do have a name, you know.
I have yet to learn it.
Well, you can have it now. I'm Fidel.
Fidel, I am right.
And name is noted up.
Nice to meet you. I really hope these cameras aren't recording.
Well, if they are,
Yes,
whoever's
they are.
recording it is liable to be melted into a goo.
I like necromancers.
Could you do me a favor? I'm a particularly what's the word? I'm a noodle. Could you carry two of these fine gentlemen away from here so we're not, actively breaching any kind of law?
It might be an idea to get the footage on that, because even so, we're still going to be witnessing kidnapping people.
Brian kind of shrugs. That's true.
Okay, so Theodore, you proceed to pad your way through the interior of this building until you do eventually come to a security room. You open the door to the security room, at which point you will see, when you open the door, a body physically flops out onto the ground, its neck having been broken. Inside there is another person who's been shot twice, once in the chest and once in the back of the head. Their bodies, blood still cooling on the surfaces that they're working on.
That's to be expected.
You will then basically come into the security room. It is a small room, about 5 meters by 3 meters. There are two computers that are sitting there that are monitoring the various different security cameras. However, there's one thing that immediately strikes you, Theodore. Do you have any dots at computers?
I'm a Nosferatu. I have some, yes.
Okay. Don't roll me your intelligence computers.
I will.
I was going to say, what's your answer? Do you have judge's computers? I'm a Nosferatu. There you go.
2.
All right. Hey, Theodore, this is kind of a bad thing. So, you first start. Yes, these security cameras do monitor sound. Just saying. But also, they upload their footage to a secure section of the cloud.
That's bad.
Yep. So you know when people were talking about necromancers and can we kidnap some people? Hi.
Well, to be fair, I think that whole shtick got kind of put out the bag immediately after the moment where, I don't know, somebody punched a coffin in half.
The camera was not turned on for that.
Oh, excellent.
I made a point of saying the red light has turned back on.
Well, why did it turn back on afterwards? If it's anybody, then it's the Setites. Unless someone knew when and when the cameras should and should not be on, in which case they're also in on it.
Yeah, you would assume, for the record, Ryan, or for the record, Theodore can easily assume this, you'd assume there was somebody in here monitoring the situation who actively, physically turned the cameras on and off when Saraket was there.
Yeah.
Basically, they had somebody in this room who, and when it didn't matter anymore, they turned them back on.
Mm-hmm. Theodore is going to delete. Well, he's going to take what is physical footage from here, and yeah, he's going to send even more messages to the clan, like, this is a problem.
You will get a response from Whisper that literally says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how big a problem? ?
Comfortable 6.
He will describe it fairly shortly, like certain things mentioned, secure cloud, like bullet points.
Her response is, so an 11 then, ?
And he will just send a not so happy smiley.
Excellent. Her response is going to be, fine, I'll have Enigma work on it. I swear to God, I'm going to stick these people to the fucking ceiling with toothpicks.
And he will send a message. These are members of the city. Perhaps a suitable arrangement can be met once this is dealt with? ?
The response will be valid. All right, I'm going to kick the tech monkey until he starts monkeying around. Make sure they don't incriminate themselves anymore. For the record, you can just turn off the security cameras for me so they won't record anything.
Yeah, he has.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, he's going to do what he can here, whatever physical copies.
Oh yeah, that's pretty easy. You basically just trash the hard drive, you know?
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah. And then he is going to leave.
Okay. So, who are you guys kidnapping?
I'm gonna text my ghoul, get the body van. I have a special van purchased for just such an occasion.
Okay.
I like to imagine he just sends a message like, yes boss, get the stiff mobile.
Yeah, exactly. Ghoul 1 and 2, those being Burke and Hare.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But basically, I'm just gonna get any people that are already dead, and I'm just gonna load them up onto my van. I don't think I'll kill anybody, but I might have a sip.
To be fair, I think your character did sort of mention something in the direction of, the guy who used to have a nice mustache, right?
Yeah.
Damien will politely try to pull Ryan aside and have a quick chat with him.
Well, I'm still waiting for the van, so yeah.
Yeah. I would actually prefer if you let that poor fellow actually pass on. I would give you something in return.
Oh, well, not that I wish to divulge particularly interesting secrets regarding necromancy, but the raising of a corpse into a slave is not something that involves binding a soul to the body. It's simply a...
So I would have your word of honor that you would let the soul peacefully pass on into the wheel, reincarnation.
if the wraith exists, which it may well, given the untimely death and the sudden, discovery of his work, I might ask him a few questions. I'm sure you'd be interested to partake in yourself, but I see no reason to prevent him.
Well, okay. In that case, just contact me when you do that, since I am able to.
As Theodore enters the room again, you gentlemen will see two more figures pop into existence as if from nowhere. One of them is this figure. Say hi.
Hi.
The other is this figure.
He's a Prince Hennessy and an Enigma.
Hennessy, he has his thumb and his forefinger to his mask. As he just looks around and he's like, what in the name of sweet tap dancing Christ happened here?
The Setites.
They beat me to it.
Notes that down.
Saraket, I believe his name was.
Yes, that is the name he mentioned.
My prince. Theodore will bow quite deeply.
It's actually quite comical when people bow to Hennessy because he's so short. But Hennessy just kind of he has his hands to the mask to the mask nose, and she's just like, I read what Whisperer sent you. Enigma, go and do your work. I suppose it's just going to be a logarithmic algorithm to get access to the cloud. That shouldn't be a problem. Oh, why is that girl sitting in the corner rocking back and forth having a I've seen shit face? Hi.
Quite a reaction, and that is what I intended to ask. Well,
by the way,
we are not alone. Perhaps certain discussions should be had in private.
We are fortunate in this certain instance that any such usage of abilities that our kind has privy to put the people to sleep who would be able to, let's say, make the wrong conclusions regarding the masquerade.
Alright, so just a couple of clarification points. Saoirse, how's it going? Going good?
I mean,
You've taken a whole shitload of bashing, and the scarabs unfortunately stopped crawling all over you. They kind of left when the heart left. But literally, you see this really ugly face just kind of look down at you. He's like, hello.
Oh, sweet.
Oh no.
Hi?
And you will see this gentleman
She
will
has
come
had
over.
no interaction with vampires before.
You will see this man will come over and put a hand on the monster or whatever it is shoulder and just. I do believe we are a bit of a time crunch.
Yeah. I was just wondering why your nose is bleeding, and possibly broken.
I will see to that.
Okay.
I can heal that if need be.
I'll go and. So wait, the computer room's down the hallway, 2 doors to the left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
He basically, you see him. He's got a really big backpack that he just kind of slings over his shoulders. Like, okay, I'm gonna go and make it so the masquerade is not shat on. Back later. And he just walks out of the room.
Theodore will go down on his knees and we'll just take some paper tissue up and we'll hand it to you.
Though though Enigma does raise a question. Why this girl looks like somebody has hit her face with trouble?
I believe someone found it prudent to try to calm her down. I don't.
While she was freaking out, an attempt was made to knock her out, albeit unsuccessfully.
Someone was going to kill her. Her brother was going to knock her out to try and save her. They just walked out of the room after that.
Then why didn't you? You literally see that moment when Hennessy dies on the inside. It's like, but then why did you knock her? Why are you leaving her? Why is life?
Because he just said because they left the room after that. It was like, oh.
That awkward moment where you forget that you're a Malkavian that could have solved this solution a lot easier.
Yeah. Anyway,
You could have just
as
used
they
passion,
are,
you dick.
I
as
forgot.
okay.
Jason,
So as the vampires are faffing about, Damien very matter-of-factly will gently but firmly push them out of the way and say, out of the way, out of the way, I can heal her, or at least I think I can. And he'll squat down to her and say, I'll just be using a little bit of life magic to patch you up, so.
I've got a weird question. What is Damien's level of mind?
2.
Yep, you can heal a changeling. You actually need mind 2 to heal a changeling. Fun fact.
Okay, so a normal arete roll, I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but before he does that, 1 point of willpower will be spent.
Life, what are you talking about? Oh. And which one of you punched me?
Only to save you. Someone was going to kill you. Because, well, you'd have to ask her.
To be fair, they
You're
had
lucky you're
stopped.
handsome.
They had stopped before you punched her.
Oh wait, they had? Because I was under the impression... Oh, you see, I was under the impression that she was going to kill her still. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear her stop.
3 successes plus willpower makes 4 successes.
Yep, the nose immediately cracks back into place, and the bruising immediately heals. You are brought back up to full health. At which point, as this conversation goes on, because this is going to get really, really funny, that is not the right roll at all. I'm going to re-roll that because A, it was the wrong amount, B, it was the wrong difficulty. Yep, so that's going to be that. It was going to be that amount of dice because Evan can count today. All right. At that point, very, very exasperatedly, Hennessy backhands the gangrel. Just backhands him.
Because I see, I literally did not hear that the girl stopped, but okay.
It's also she did stop, but it's also because low key he's on path of chivalry, and you beat up a woman.
Okay.
So you will
She
take.
did stop. She said because I didn't.
You will take a grand total because I have to do some math. He wears a gauntlet, which could make this quite interesting. You will take a grand total of. You should be okay because you're a gangrel, which
I
means
mean, I've got Fortitude 6.
excellent. Because you are going to take a grand total of 12 lethal damage as he backhands you.
Yeah, he soaks 6. And soak 6 and
you roll
roll 5. I'm gonna roll his 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6, 10. He soaks 10 in total.
Yep, so you take 2. So basically, for thematic purposes, he basically just backhands you into a wall. You probably fly about 10 feet and just smack the wall and kind of peel down it. As he's just exasperated. It's like,
My prince, would you do me the courtesy of removing the bodies from this place?
They're all asleep, aren't they?
Yeah, the ones that are unconscious. There are a number of dead in the building, most likely, given the fact that this place probably had security guards. Also, this gentleman in the corner, the proprietor of the now snapped in half coffin, is most certainly no longer with us.
That is... What the hell happened to him?
Sauerkraut happened to him.
I was going to say, did he literally have a wrestling match with a freight train and lose? But okay. Okay.
A very strong boot with a very strong heel against a sadly very mortal neck.
Ah, fuck. Alright. What is your name, child? He says, looking at Saoirse.
Saoirse Kennedy.
I must issue an apology on behalf of my subordinate. he has been suitably chastised. I hope that is sufficient.
I was just going to forgive him as he's quite pretty, but whatever. She kind of stands up and brushes herself off.
So you mean to tell me that you would place so much value on simple appearance?
Possibly.
What can I say? Changelings are rather objective.
Does he know
Sure.
that she is a changeling?
Yes, he does.
Changing law too.
100% he does.
Amy notes that down.
He has Mythoceria, which lets him detect magic, and also he has the relevant lore to identify changeling. So yeah, he does.
Like I said, we have
her
mixed
head
company.
kind of snaps over to him.
That's what you.
As he makes to, he's going to do basically as requested and extricate the bodies from the building. He just looks at Theodore and he says, "It's interesting to be young, I suppose, and care so much about what's on the outside."
Well, there are those of us who know so much more now. Oh well.
All right, there's a sewer access, or rather, yes, in the sub-basement. So will you go and claim the two bodies from the IT room, I believe it was, and leave Enigma to do his work? I'll have this place locked down tomorrow, and we'll do a full cleanup.
Yeah, I got 6 successes on the shambling hordes.
What did you want a shambling horde?
No, as in I'm going to shambling hordes the bodies, not apprentices brooms them.
Ah, excellent. Okay. Aha, means no one has to carry bodies. They're just going to walk.
Exactly.
So much more civilized.
I will get the two in the IT room, of course.
Very good. What did he take out of the sarcophagus?
A heart, was it?
There would
Well, it was
Canopic jar.
yeah.
The heart.
It was a canopic jar of Anubis, which more than likely has a heart in it, since Anubis wastes the heart after death.
Agreed.
What they said.
Shut up, Fidel.
Oh, you know me.
Needless to say, Whisper described you as, how is it he phrased it, what Dr. Frankenfurter's slightly hot transvestite twin looks like.
Ah, Whisper. May you never change.
I'm glad she speaks of me so highly.
Yes, let's go with that assessment.
He's intentionally misinterpreting this.
He fixes his mask on his face, this kind of, straightening it and whatever else have you, before he says, "This bodes interestingly. I don't know why I didn't know that there was something like that had been in the city, but clearly I have to tighten the net and see what falls out. The Setites have been prickly ever since the previous Gangrel Primogen murdered one of their number in his own domain for no reason."
Speaking of nets that need to be tighter.
In theory, the Setites haven't actually broken any laws this evening. This isn't anyone's recognized domain, and technically everything they did could be easily washed away with a simple group of thugs or ruffians. There's nothing in the masquerade that protects everyday people, and they covered their tracks relatively well, so I have to do politics. Kill me.
Saoirse is looking around incredibly confused. Masquerade, Setites, what the fuck is going on?
Good, because if you did know, we'd have to punch you harder.
Hennessy does have 7 potents.
Keep in mind, Ryan, her fucking strength is higher than yours.
Quite possibly.
That's not hard, though. Ryan is a noodle.
He is a noodle. She is less noodly than him.
So someday, Ryan, I'm going to say the words "roll me strength brawl" to resist the grapple check, and then you're going to have a sad day.
Yeah. That actually first requires the person to be able to hit me.
Actually, no, it doesn't.
Grapple doesn't.
Grapple
That's
doesn't.
true.
Mhm.
That's contested roll.
Yep.
What?
It's one of those rules in World of Darkness that makes literally no sense. But then again, that's because grappling mechanics in so many games are just fuckballs busted if you do them wrong or right.
Yeah.
Never play with the grappling rules, kids. They will literally make you cry. That's why I never play anything that grapples anything. But he will then say, very well, all right, we'll have this entire building shut down. Ooh. On the side there, just because he then shrugs, puts his fist through a glass case, and lifts out a jeweled scarab. I'm going to add this to my collection
Of jeweled scarabs.
of antiquities.
I was kind of thinking of like, yes, of jeweled scarabs, of which I have multiple.
It's just very casual. Well, I'm going to clean this up anyway, which means, ooh, I get to steal things.
Fidel's going to eye the place up and see if there's anything he likes now.
Are there any nice antique weapons around?
Allow me to paraphrase this. He'll say, as he leaves, I have claimed Prince's prerogative. That doesn't mean all of you can.
Well, it would make more sense if a person were to break in and steal more mundane artifacts in addition.
Yes, exactly.
He is gone at this point, and he does not seem inclined to answer that question.
Well, I'm looking for a Kapesh sword, if there is any around.
Nothing that's usable, realistically. They're all very old items. So there'd be nothing that you could say wield, if that makes sense.
Fair enough. Any nice carved scarabs?
Yeah, there are a couple of carved scarabs. Everyone can have a carved scarab. There you go.
Okay,
Nope.
fair enough. He'll grab himself two and then go to direction Isaac.
Yeah,
Isaac
take a
is
scarab.
on the floor.
He literally would try his best to yank him up.
He is a dead and limped weight. You are weakened and burning him.
When your boy Saraket smashed through the coffin, did the death mask remain intact?
There isn't a death mask.
Peculiar.
Interestingly enough. All right, so hang on. Ryan, you walk to the coffin, yes?
Yes.
Okay. As you do so, you step over some of the coffin remains on the ground, but it causes the hinges of the coffin, which have been absolutely abused, basically, by the blows of Sarka. The two huge residual basalt sections of the coffin basically fall in two. So can you please roll me your dexterity athletics to not get smushed?
Okay. Does that include celerity?
It does.
If he fails it, I'm stepping forward to pull him out.
I mean, he shouldn't fail it, but we'll see. It's standard diff.
Yes.
Okay. Both sections of the coffin lid, because they've been broken in two by Saraket's blows, fall onto the ground with a deafening thud. There is something unusual in the lid of the coffin that none of you could see prior because it had been hinged and still leant inwards. There is a complete capeche, or not a capeche, it's called a cartouche, there you go, on the inside of the coffin lid. And that shouldn't be there.
I'm gonna pick it up and eye it.
You can't pick it up, it's carved into the lid.
Oh, right, like into the bottom of the lid or like into the top?
Into the bit that would have been facing the corpse.
Ah,
A series of hieroglyphs.
okay.
Interesting.
At that thudding crash, Damien can't help himself, but he'll start walking towards it.
Drop Isaac and walk back to the sarcophagus.
Isaac and goes to sarcophagus because more responsive.
I love it.
Will occult help with that?
And
I need
telephone
to roll,
and photo.
you don't really need to roll a cult because I'll tell you right now, they never put cartouches or hieroglyphs inside the coffin lid. So to have one in there, it's basically, it says something, but none of you know what it says. Honestly, you guys could wake the dead. No pun intended.
I wonder if that was to keep someone out or something in.
Oh boss.
I reckon Whisper is standing over Ryan's left shoulder. Hi.
Ah, Whisper. Good to see you.
Well, considering I apparently have to get this entire building cleaned up before I will refer to as all hell physically breaking loose. Oh, well, that guy's not wearing a dress.
Hello. I like to mix it up.
Uh-huh. I'm sure you do. Keep it fruity.
What was his name? Is it not Talbot? It was something else. The dude who like uses his name at the start of every sentence. Abdul. That's it. Different name. Sorry. Perhaps you could get Abdul to do some of the heavy lifting.
Oh, do you want me to tell you what that means?
Oh, well, if you'd be so kind.
Alright. I haven't had to do this in a while. Bear in mind, for those who can clan Nosferatu would know this, Whisper is the clan historian. She can also speak like half a dozen dead languages. Fun fact. Actually, I think Bishop's the only one who's ever talked to her about history. Ah. So what she does is she kind of crab walks to the top of the sarcophagus. The ground. So basically, her body over it entirely. She's got her hands on either side of it, so she's pressed really close into it as she appears to be reading. It takes her about 20, 30 minutes to do the translation, because translating hieroglyphs is fucking difficult. Before she says, by the way, if any of you want to write this down, I recommend writing it down as I say it, because my god, I'm not going to remember it a second time.
I'm sure one of these people has a pen on them.
Oh, Damien has got his notebook out and is waiting tentatively.
The seed of the life giver ran red, scarlet crimson. And so it was rended from the chest of he who anointed by chaos was, lost to time so that it would forever remain lost. The keeper of storms, the whisperer of his kind, bound. And this is truth, this is lies. We shall see. Apep's scion shall not rise again. We pray.
Oh no! Oh no! No!
Well,
Theodore looks
we'll
as
note
though
that down.
he's something like he's just had an immediate case of indigestion.
Again, I say to keep something in.
Very calmly, without missing a beat, Whisper, basically, for those of you who don't know, Whisper's coat is nearly entirely composed of pockets. On the inside, literally, it's just pockets, pockets, pockets. She reaches into one of her pockets and she just withdraws, like, basically, you know, an antacid before she, like, holds it up in Theodore's direction, like, eh? Eh?
Oh, if only I could, but thank you.
Some vampire Gaviscon.
Keeper of storms. This is not going to be very pleasant, is it?
I mean, is anything we do very pleasant?
Ever is. Oh.
Does anyone else have the concerning suspicion that they plan to bring this person back?
Oh, I thought that was obvious at this point.
I mean,
What he said.
I don't know. They may be going off to bury it again. It seems they didn't want it found.
Unlikely.
Well, there's another theory I've got as to why I might want to find it. You see, okay, hang on. Whisper lifts the round half a ton coffin lid with one hand, and she points to points the part on the cartouche. Like, see here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is an odd symbol to find because normally you wouldn't find it in this place, but that's not here or there. This is basically a binding in the name of Osiris.
Yes, the old
Lord of the Dead.
Yeah, let's go with Lord of the Dead.
Yes, Lord of the Dead. Mm.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Theodore will just go over to Shano, is your character is just standing and being very confused, right?
Yeah, she is lost as fuck right now.
Yeah, this man will come over to you again, and she just will say, "I am terribly sorry for the the kerfuffle earlier. Please, if you are confused, I understand. And he will produce a business card, and it will just say TW on it, and there will be a number, and he will just hold it out.
Just kind of look at it for a minute before she takes it and kind of slips it into the little handbag that she's carrying.
I won't respond. Well, maybe I won't respond right away, but I will get back to you if a certain context needs to be shed on events here and other places. I will be willing to do so, of course. No strings attached. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, a girl from what I will refer to as the good old South. She says, looking towards the Ravnos and kind of cheering. What the hell's your name?
Catherine.
Hi.
Hello.
I think you're right, for the record, about something being kept in rather than something being kept out. So, congratulations on not being as. I was going to say dumb as you look, but you don't look dumb, so. Dumb as I assume he is, she says, pointing at Fidel.
You wound me so.
Oh, would you like me to?
I'll take those.
You know what? Go on.
Are you being serious?
I think he is.
It might be fun.
Local masochist.
Alright, I'm going to roll some dice. Fidel,
That was a really bad idea.
Local man, Toport in one strike.
Because she has all the potents.
She just knows the potents as Hennessy does. She has a lot of potent stuff. Oh dear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 rollover.
I was going to say, I do believe if I'm recalling correctly from the Giovanni Gala, she has 6 potents.
She does in fact have 6 potents.
It is fortunate that you soak blunt at a thingy rate, don't you?
This really brings me back to Connor's stamina specialty.
What was his stamina specialty?
Hit me harder.
By the way, storyteller, I know that in normal sarcophagi they would give at least a scroll of the Book of the Dead with the dead before they then close the sarcophagus. Is there a copy around? Or not?
By the way, sorry, just so we continue. Fidel, what is your stamina?
That's not my best score, I can tell you that.
And do you have any fortitude?
That is 3 stamina and... Or is it? 3 fortitude.
Okay. Please soak me. Oh dear. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 6. Please soak me 12 bashing damage.
Lovely.
Fortunate you soak bashing it twice the rate.
No, you don't. What happens is you have to roll to soak, and then it becomes halved. So you have to soak the full amount, but then the full amount is halved and rounded up.
Yes.
Yes.
So am I rolling my stamina or my stamina and fortitude?
Well, are you going to spend the blood point to automatically soak with your fortitude?
Yeah, fuck it. I haven't spent anything today. Why not?
Okay. In that case, it gets lowered by 3, and you roll me 3 stamina.
Nope. 2, 1, and 4.
Okay. So in that case, she got a total of 9, which means it gets halved. Sorry, so she got a total of 12 minus 3 is 9, which means it gets halved, which means it becomes 4.5, which means it gets rounded up. So bam, she hits you for 5 bashing damage.
Sweet.
There's a wonderful moment as Fidel is launched through the air, where you can almost see the small, rotating stars around his view, around his head.
He has just landed on either the ground or the wall when Theodore just turns to her and says, "Is there anything I can assist you with in the cleanup?"
I mean, do you want to hit him? It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Not overly. Oh, that's interesting. This motherfucker's chest cavity is hollow. That shouldn't be. Hang on. You see, she kind of hops up nimbly, and what you guys can see, there is essentially the corpse, the mummified corpse. He still has a ragged overrobe that has still survived to this day. You're not exactly sure how the cloth has survived as well as it has. However, it appears. However, when she rips it off, very casually tosses it over her shoulder, you see something really interesting. That's not his rib cage. It's a series of inscribed golden, solid gold, basically solid gold metal that's been made to look like the effect of a rib cage.
That's very peculiar.
Most unusual.
I wonder what the rest of them is. However, what you guys see on the inside, there is also there was also a golden scroll, a very small scroll case in the center of it. That's basically being held in place by the golden ribs, or rather, they're not ribs. They're meant to hold this scroll. It just happens that they disguise those ribs.
Will we be taking that with us, Whisper?
I have no idea what the hell this is.
May I? I'm an archaeologist after all.
I mean, I consider you entirely expendable, so please feel free.
Yes, touch the doom scroll.
Oh, you think I wouldn't give it a sight beyond sight before I touch it? Ah, that's cute. And, Damien, well, to be fair, at this point, I would assume that he still has his sights on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Entropy sight and prime sight are active.
Alright. As you look at the... It doesn't really have an entropy signature to it whatsoever.
Fair
However,
enough.
under prime sight, no, it doesn't actually have a prime signature.
Fair enough. With that, he goes, well, doesn't seem to be charged nor accursed, so he will try to grasp the golden cylinder and basically try to yank it off with whatever it is bound. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. What happens is Whisper basically yanks Theodore down, using her potence to yank him, and just kind of affixes the lid of the sarcophagus between them and the possible explosion zone. It's like, nope. No, the scroll case just comes away in your hand.
Okay. Try to open up scroll case.
Okay. I'm really sorry about this.
It's okay. I entered into an Evan game. I know what I got myself into.
As you open it up, you are immersed in a cloud of something. Please roll me your stamina, difficulty 9. Don't fail.
You can always use your willpower.
To be fair, Damien actually has really good stamina anyway. I hold out faith.
Can you spend willpower on this one?
Do you can?
Do we all roll it?
No, only Damien, because basically he is. When he opens the case, there's like a puff of white dust that gets in his face.
So it's just total silence and like an Egyptian voice. Pocket sand.
Pocket sand. Jason, you there?
Did we lose a Jason?
I don't know.
I think we may have lost Jason.
There might be something at work. Who knows?
I was gonna say he was like, it doesn't talk about this, and I'm like, no. Unfortunately, this is an entirely mundane trap that has no magical parts whatsoever. The thing that stumps mages when magic isn't involved.
Oh, yep, we lost him.
He is in limbo for the moment.
Wow, that's a very powerful scroll. It literally takes the player out of the game. It's just...
Puts them in purgatory.
I mean, come on, guys. We all know that purgatory doesn't exist anymore. God, keep up with your church doctrine.
I like to think of it canonically as it's turned into purgatory, the eighth ring of hell. For people who...
I'm not even gonna lie. I maintain that the Pope should literally just declare that, really wacky things like, if you go down this water slide, you get into heaven. Because I can.
Fuck it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I was Pope, I'd totally do that. Oh, God, by the way, guys, we all support Evan for Pope, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it has no effect on me, so sure.
Is this gonna be the video where you announce your candidacy, even though that's not how the Pope position works?
I mean, if I kill enough people, I become Pope, right?
Well, yeah.
It's of course how Mafia works.
Hashtag Deus, hashtag
I mean, Mafia, Catholic Church. Nah.
Same difference, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Now all we need to do is get the other members of Clan Nosferatu to smack all the other pretty people in the game.
No.
No, I would never do such a thing.
We'll call it the smackening.
Not slap.
Yeah, anyone with
She's already got punched in the face once tonight. Let's not.
It's just like fucking Clan Nosferatu on Thought Patrol. Hang on, I have a perfect image for this situation. Where are you, honey? Come on. Copy link. Open in browser. Save image as.
You shouldn't have saved it. That's the Reds and Blues coming for you. You're saving it.
Had to do it to him. Morally obligated. I received a court mandate requiring me to do it to him within 30 days.
Is Isaac still on the floor?
Yep.
There we go. Perfect. Square up thoughts.
I just saw that meme. As you said that. Scott, I hope you realize that's going to be on YouTube now.
I know.
But he doesn't really seem to care.
No, he doesn't.
That's because I'm not a thought.
Oh, his cell phone overheated.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
How does a cell phone overheat?
Well, when a mommy's cell phone and a daddy's cell phone love each other very much.
It's like, did he insert the boron rods too quickly and there was an energy surge?
I mean, I assume that's how life works.
Yeah. Better get back quickly, otherwise people are going to start hearing me slurping fucking peaches.
I'm just kind of like, because I can't really go home until he gets back.
He said he's going to try to rejoin in a few minutes, and hopefully his phone doesn't overheat.
Well, I don't think there's a huge amount left, is there? Unless, of course, I'm missing the bit where the children of Osiris show up and start T-posing and everyone. Be like, where is Papa?
I honestly don't think that actually that's one thing I'm fairly sure of, that Evan would never want to subject himself to playing a child of Osiris. I'm fairly confident of that.
I mean, have you read what he wrote about them in, the Allowed?
That's
Clans
one of the
and
reasons
Bloodline
I'm
list.
thinking that they're probably not going to show up. Just saying. Or they're going to show up explicitly for him to kill them in very, very nasty and horrible ways.
Yeah. I mean, I completely accept and condone this life culture.
I mean, that could be the thing, but well, I don't know. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm gonna jump out because I need to sleep.
That's fair. To be fair, okay, what's going to happen is he's going to basically get a face full of dust. I'll tell you right now, it's basically highly condensed arsenic. But it's going to be very, very sad if he fails the roll on. But other than that, I think that we can call it there, guys. And basically go from there another evening.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go sleep.
All right, have a good one.
Cool.
Want me to just go ahead and cut the recording, or do you want to actually outro?
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.